Aries, Ashe. Obatula, Ashe. Nila Hotep, Ashe. Anu, Ashe. Ptah, Ashe. Apollo, Ashe. Da, Ashe. Zaka, Ashe. Shango, Ashe. Makali, Ashe.
Visualize Lakshmi as a beautiful woman sitting on a lotus flower with incredible beauty and luster. Immerse yourself in the music.
Greater reality is coming in. Greater reality is coming in. Greater reality is coming. Greater reality is coming in. And when we slide to the other side, it's paradise, and that's the best we can think because it's never been done before. You see what I'm saying? But let's put it this way. All you got to do is read on what you would think all the mythologists say what a god and goddess was, that you admired all those years, apply those same laws to yourself. And you pretty much get it. You know, you pretty much get it. Let's say Superman. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, and whatever you can think of would actually be reality in whatever you would be able to produce. You see what I'm saying? So we talking about a world that is unbelievable. And that's why the material things that we deal with in this world is only trying to get simulations of something that we're lacking in this world, that we're trying to, that it's a simulation or inkling of what's in the next world. I've been telling you this evil all these years, and what religion say is evil, you embrace. Because that is the key, baby. So anything that is deadly, dark, and dismal, and stuff that's terrifying, that's the stuff that you need to embrace. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, shoot. So, I'm telling you that everything that you call dark and dismal and evil, that's the stuff that you as intellectual adults need to ponder. And you will find that ain't evil at all. It's just the leftover history and the mysteries that they don't want you to explore. Death is the ultimate key. Every day you wake up should be a bad day. The only reason why you will bow down and take so much hell is because the Western man, number one, never understood death. And the first thing he did is took the ancient person and make you fear death. Death is liberation. It is the ultimate key. You see what I'm saying? Now you know that's some enlightened stuff, but you ain't got many people come on your TV and start talking about death. Well, I'll push you to the end. Death is the ultimate. You see what I'm saying? Now, guess what? Once you find out that death is the ultimate key, life is a cakewalk. And that's what the ancient Egyptians used to do. They would start off in the ancient world teaching the children and everybody about death and the funerary rites. So therefore life is a doggone walk in the park.
The mantra.
You know, and let me tell you something. That's why they tell you don't supposed to grieve for your ancestors too much. Because they be over there chilling. You see what I'm saying? And only way you make it hard for them is they worrying about you on this side. And really, you're not really it's a selfish move. Because once they make the transition, you're only crying because you're not necessarily asking, well, what is it like for them over there? You're asking, how am I going to get along because they're gone? But it's ignorance. Because we have lost that esoteric and that stuff, that basic society. Why you think they celebrate the Day of the Dead in all the societies? What if that's about? Death is beautiful.
Everything auspicious, everything that you enjoy is in the domain of Lakshmi. She is the personification of happiness on the earth plane. Hiranyavarnam Harinim Swarnarajadasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmi Jatavedo Mavaha.
We're here in Atlanta, Georgia, finally after 1 year. The last lecture I did in my home was October 16, 2004. And so now we're back, and this is an impromptu thing the brother Rudra was going to come down and we was going to do a sit-down lecture. We was going to do a sit-down lecture, and we was just going to do it together, me, Rudra, Linda, and Carla. And I think about 2 days ago, we just decided to invite some people, and all. So we're going to, then what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to get up, we're going to take a tour of the house, and we're going to put the altars, we're going to show the altars and stuff. This is a Lakshmi altar here. That actually around last year this time, I think around October, little before October the 16th, she appeared and she told us to put up this altar. So it's been working pretty good and all. She's a goddess of prosperity and the goddess of wealth and prosperity and beauty. And her particular festival starts on August the 16th. It's called the Bengali Festival. No, Diwali Festival, excuse me. And it is as big in India as Christmas, New Year's, and 4th of July put together. For this this ancient goddess, we would say a form of Het-Heru in Egypt, a form of Erzuli in Dahomey, Africa, a form of Inanna in Samaria, Ishtar in Babylon, Aphrodite in both Phoenicia and then later on Greece. And so she's permeated the house. This is her gold dress up here. We'll show these tomorrow for the we'll just show this tomorrow for the people on the camera. When I put this together, the room adjoining this, when you get a chance to go and peep, you can peep. We're going to put this on the camera too. There's a whole other room dedicated to Goddess Lakshmi. But this room was full of furniture and stuff like that. Because I had a homeboy that got through out of his apartment back in 2001. And so for some reason he came over and I stored all his stuff in the apartment for about 4 years. And people said, why'd you do it? I said, well, this is the brother who turned me on to consciousness years ago. So I just figured I owed him something. At least he could at least keep his stuff up in there. And I was by myself at the time as far as in the house. So a guy in the house, we ain't into that much decorating anyway. It's only when the sister come and say that shit got to go that I had to get a nigga a call. You see what I'm saying? So a little after she got here and all, had to get a brother a call, and so we cleaned out the room, and he had and it was a whole thing of gold coins, and those gold dollar bills they came out with at the first of the gold dollar bills they put like in 2000. Anyway, he had about 20 of them in a satchel there, and it was all over the floor. And I said, what we gonna do with these and stuff? And so the goddess Lakshmi came through and said, give them to me. I'm saying, hey, give them to me. And so right then, when she said that, I said, well, we got to build an altar. And we started with the altar, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. So it was bigger than this. It took up all of this room almost. And so then what we did, we extended it and stuff where we put gold trim around the room. So basically, this whole room is the actual dedicated to the goddess Lakshmi and all this. And some people said, well, why did you do this? I said, well, she just showed up. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to have a series of these. We're going to do them every month. You know what I'm saying? Because if we wait on people with to get buildings and stuff like that, and one brother, we had a building in 2000, and we got about 200 people up in there, and he saw the money he could make, so he started charging us $60 an hour, and all kind of crazy stuff. So we decided to this, like I said, it's a spur of the moment, so it's impromptu. So the timing thing, people had to see what's going on. So I guess next time, it'll be even better than that, but. Also what we wanted to do is we also wanted to, he was supposed to come down last week and do this, the brother Rudra, but we decided to do it this week, and because of the Halloween thing, which we're telling most black people that this is probably one of the closest days to anything that's dealing with Africa and stuff like that. And we take this for granted and stuff like that, and we said that's a bunch of crazy white people stuff. But basically everywhere around the world, they have a Day of the Dead. and celebrations of the dead, and they have Lent festivals and different ones all in the Caribbean. And one brother said that because there's a big thing now, people going down to Brazil, a lot of brothers going down to Brazil and stuff, you know, to get their freak on and stuff, you know. So it's been a big thing, especially with the black so-called middle class. They started going to, like in the late 90s and the early 2000s, they go down to Brazil and stuff like that and get treated like a king or whatever, you know. And so one brother, he met up with a sister there, and instead of, you know, just getting the freaky deaky thing, he just decided to just hook up with this one sister, and the sister took him to each island. And, you know, each weekend there's a festival in a certain island, and they follow the festival throughout all of South America. You see what I'm saying? So this is amazing. So everybody have these festivals, even over in different places like Tibet, and they got another day. What's that other day of the dead? It's over in Indonesia, and they got them all around the world. And you know, and this stuff all comes from Africa. It all comes from a universal ancient culture of black people. And so the only thing we have as far as a holiday that recognizes that is actual Halloween. Whereas, so we talk about Monday, and there's so many words, I always bring some books out here. I think it's in this book here, Mysteries of the Dark Moon by Demetra George, where they talk about, I think that day is the closest day that the realm of the dead and the realm of the realm of the dead and the realm of the living overlap. It's like a doorway. Well, it's interesting here, the reason why we decided to do this, and actually what really made me invite the people and say, let's do this like a sit-down Halloween thing, is because the simple fact here is because of the Katrina aspect. And I heard that Delbert Blair just did one out in California on Katrina, that I heard. So, in so many words, this is why we celebrate this whole, the whole trick-or-treat thing and the whole Halloween thing, and especially trick-or-treat. And my queen brought that to me and stuff. And if you can see her, hey, come in here for a minute, Linda. You know, she told me not to put on the camera, but you know how it is. She tell me every time, and every time I do it and stuff. You know, is she gonna come this time, or she ain't gonna show up? Well, you might as well. I just called you out now, so you're gonna look, you know, very antisocial if you don't come now. See, that's how you got to put a nigga on the spot. You know, you come on out here for a minute. This is a sister. This is the queen of the house. From D.C., so she's from West Hill, D.C., and she's wearing her famous Halloween dress. Put on your skull, put on your thing. That she playing on her trick-or-treat dress and stuff like that. Did you have this on Did you have this on when we was doing trick-or-treat last year? No. Did we put? No, we didn't have that on. This is the first time on this one. She had on a mask and scared the shit out the children. But this is her Morticia. You know what I'm saying, dress and stuff like this and all. We just want to put a little fashion show up in here and all, yeah. So anyway, but she's the one that said, no, we got to do trick or treat and stuff, and so the significance was that when those children come and you give them the candy, that's actually the ancestors and the souls coming to receive the blessings. So it's a whole ritual behind that. So this is some things that you need to reincorporate, because you know we got all Afrocentric over the years, and you know we threw a lot of stuff out, the baby with the bathwater, including Christmas, which is actually the birthday of Mithra. Now, the birthday of Mithra, now I'm gonna see if I got the book. Linda, I think go in the room and see if can you find the book, the Goddess Book of Days. The Goddess Book of Days. I think it might be in the bedroom. And so anyway, they have these particular festivals, and even if remember now, a lot of this stuff that what we're thinking as holidays was actually put in by the Moors. Like 4th of July is a Sirius cycle and stuff like that, you know. So believe me, they give you the ghost factor of the holiday, but they do a whole lot of rituals and a whole lot of things behind that. Yeah, that's the one. You passed that one. This is a book that's out of print. But I think you can get this on the internet. It's called The Goddess Book of Days by Diane Stein. And it's a Goddess Book of Days. And this is one that tells you each day, there's something going on each day. And this one is just basically all the gods and goddesses. Mainly the goddesses, but they do say the gods also in the vignettes of the days when they give you the actual, the days that these gods and goddesses fall under. But I say that and all to open this thing up based on this Halloween thing is because we lost so many ancestors and we lost so many people, until it's key that we give a little celebration and actually talk about this particular time because at this particular time, because that's a hell of a lot of people. We talking about over 100,000 people, and that's not including the people from the tsunami. You see what I'm saying? You see, so we talking about close to, shoot, how many of the tsunami ended up being? Over 100,000, wasn't it? Huh? So we talking about close to 200,000 people that went to the realm of the dead. So I just told the brother Ruger, because since he do the DVDs real fast and burn them real fast, I told him to come down with those if you're interested in purchasing them also. Purchasing those. So now, but going back to this particular aspect of what we call Halloween. Number one, Halloween is also in Egypt, Sekhmet's Day. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to Diane Stein's book.
This came from a lecture, and the sister was saying that the morning of Halloween or the day after is All Saints Day.
All Saints Day, yeah. It's All Saints Day. That's the November 1st. But it's interesting here because the 31st is not only Halloween, but it's also the day for Hekati, Anana, Areskagul, naturally Kali, because we're dealing with her at this particular time, and the goddess Terra. But it's also a supreme day of Sekhmet, of the goddess Sekhmet. So that's interesting too, on how these things go. But we also want to focus on the New Orleans Day of the Dead and that whole 9 yards, and because I think the Day of the Dead is tomorrow, isn't it? They celebrate it around the world, but as far as the American version, tomorrow is the Day of the Dead. You see what I'm saying? And we might well say, based on CP time in a few goddamn minutes. No, because it's going to go to this daylight savings time. You see what I'm saying also? So they trying to push some shit back. But anyway, the Day of the Dead, but my point here is we're talking about a gateway and an opening to all these particular ancestors or these particular brothers and sisters that just made this transition. You see what I'm saying? Why that was done, and give you a war behind this physical war. There's two worlds going on, and there was two battles going on. And unfortunately, some of our ancestors are caught up in that particular mess, if you want to put it that particular way. There's a war going on the whole other side. We'll deal with a little bit of that now, but I want to say that now because but it is a bridge and a gateway, and this is a doorway to the other side, and this is key. So we came together to do that, and I guess everything is impromptu, and that's the reason why I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, we decided to invite people. You see what I'm saying, and all. So that's, and that's the good part about that is waiting on election in Atlanta. I mean, it's amazing. I'm doing these things once a month or twice a month in other cities and stuff, and once a year here. So hell, we gonna do the shit right here and all. Hell, so we'll just charge a little fee at the door and all, and I have me a monthly rent party. Thus, give you, and then also give you the opportunity to get some information and some knowledge. One of the keys here is also too, now it's very key because I think we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to make sure and put it in our mind that you want at least 70 degree weather, and let it don't drop below 60. And you want to do that and stuff because they are heightening the gas price, whereas my gas bill was $300 last year, and we didn't get through paying off our gas bill till July. You know what I'm saying? Because you put a little here and there and all, just to keep them. You know how the Negroes do, keep them cutting it off, send them a 30 here and you know what I'm saying? Put something on it. But it was 300, but you can say they say it's going to be 50% higher, that means it's going to be 600. We talking about mortgage. You see what I'm saying?
66.
Huh? 66. We talking $600-700. So my point here is you can throw down with space heaters. So we've already tried it out for the people out here in TV land. You cut on the heat, you warm the house up, and once you get the house, you cut the heat off and you throw them space heaters up in here. Now, I'd rather have a $200 electric bill than a $600 gas bill. But this is also a form of warfare, is what we got to understand here. This is more than just, you know what I'm saying? They're just doing this thing just to be doing it. Like I said, they said that every corporation in this country took a loss the last month based on Katrina and all what went down. But the gas companies had an all-time high, one of the highest in history. And they just did it because they can do it. You know what I'm saying? They just did it because they can do it. You see, so we're talking about warfare that's coming in the aspect of not necessarily on the conventional way that you think it is. Warfare is also the gas war. We don't go into a lot of this stuff here, we're going to do about 2 hours, and 2 hours, and then probably tomorrow we might do another hour while y'all sleeping or something. But, but we want to do some things, but this is just interesting. What you was getting ready to say?
I was just going to say, they're getting rid of the little amnesty programs, too.
Right, so you can't...
So you can't do, like, budget...
The budget programs where you're going to get on this, yeah. And see, I never did that. Nah, ain't that a bitch? People been telling me for years, you need to go get on that budget plan. Now it's about to go. You know what I'm saying? I want to say this also about the bankruptcy laws, because, they just got rid of the bankruptcy, and they chose to do it on the 17th, but that's all overlapping this Diwali festival of Lakshmi, because in India they set their books and everything, and the whole financial planning for the year, it starts off of Lakshmi. And here it is in America, they stopped this bankruptcy thing. You see what I'm saying? It's very key. We got to understand this and all. Another thing also too, we just got this particular word about the whole bankruptcy law. You need to look into this thing here too. See, whenever they do these, they pass these bills, and I've been talking about this for years. They might give you one page. Anytime they pass the bill, it's as big as a phone book. And you heard the man on Fahrenheit 9/11 say, the congressman read them bills we pass. You see, so one of the other things here is also this key in that they did something about the UCC thing in this last bill that passed. You see what I'm saying? So this UCC thing, they did something with that in this last bill that passed. It goes, so they're doing a lot of stuff, so you need to check into this type of thing, you see. It's a lot more that passed than what you think it is based on, the front page they give you. You see what I'm saying? The first page they give you. You had any questions, Rudra? Let's see. What I want to see if these are. I'm trying to see. This is a book called A Rotting Goddess, which is also representative of the goddess called Hekati. She's also called Hekit in Egypt, with a frog head deity. It's called Hekati, and this is what all the witches so-called worship, which is a form of Sekhmet. Also, and so Halloween basically is set over her day in the European section of the festivals. But this is very key. This book is called A Rotting Goddess by Jacob Robinswith. And I think that's Robinowitz. Oh shit. I would have messed that up if I didn't listen to some Archie Bunker. Wasn't that his lawyer, Rabinowitz? Anyway, it's called A Rotting Goddess, and it's all on the goddess Hekati. Which, now it's interesting because Hekati is also a goddess of the crossroads, just as a Legba is in the Yoruba thing. You see what I'm saying? You see. And so this is interesting. This is the female goddess of the crossroads, and this has a lot to do with also to do with Halloween. Also, in this particular book, let's see if I got the other one. I got a room full of books in there and all. There's another book I got that it mentions that one of the African New Year was August the 29th was also one of the Egyptian New Years. So they got several ones. You got July 23rd is an African one. But you got different dynasties in Egypt. You got your pre-dynastic dynasty and all these different dynasties. So one of their New Years was actually August the 29th, which was the day that Katrina was scheduled to hit New Orleans. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to spit this thing and I'm going to give the shout out to Kumbanda, which is a Zarabanda, so he can take care of the 11 deities he got. And also I'm going to give a shout out to Kali and Durga, and also Lakshmi. And she can bring some crew on with her. Also the goddess Erzuli, and the goddess in Kemet Sekhmet, because this was also her day. And we'll deal with those at the particular time. The ones on our side, for the sake of time. They know what time it is, you know, because the energy is always in the house and stuff. Is interesting here. It's all kind of crazy shit be going on, and stuff. I think the first time the sister Juliet came, somebody scratched her, shook her and stuff, and you know, and all people always have all kind of experience. The sister that wrote the book, The Mark of Voodoo, Sharon Calder. She said she came here that night. Before she went down to, she did the lecture, and she came here about 2 days later. She came in this house, and then she went to the African village down in South Carolina. She said there was more energy in this house than the African village, than the African village and stuff like that. And all. So all kind of little stuff that goes on and stuff. You see, so it's very, very powerful energy. So it's not like I had to really, you know, do a lot of libations and stuff, because the energy is always there. As a matter of fact, we're in this particular new eon, and we are actually the God's gathering. So we are the actual, when we call out to listen to roll call, we are the actual gods that actually gathering now. You see what I'm saying? So the roll call that we think we calling out is actually us. You see, it's actually us. And I'm able, you know, like I said, you know, I'm able to parlay rent and some other things and stuff like that and all. And shit, I think I'm down to 1 lecture a month now. You see what I'm saying and all. And 1 lecture a month, and I'm able to do that. So that's some kind of magic in that kind of shit too. You know what I'm saying? To do that type of thing, you see, with hardly no finances. So there's always some magic going and stuff, and always some magic in the life. And although we had to get on their ass real hard the other day and shit, you see what I mean? Because, you know, we looked up and I ain't had nothing scheduled for November, and it was wishy-washy and stuff. So we did a lot of cursing their asses out and stuff like that. And, you know, and then the sister called from Cleveland and said, yeah, we gonna get you, you know, on the 17th. I'm like, cool. I said, okay then. You see, but it's a lot of things that's going on. A lot of things that's going on. I got this picture here. This is a picture that I drew back in 2000. I drew this back in 1981. Back in 1981 and stuff, you know, Afro lady. I took it from a Tamara Dotson picture. Remember Tamara Dotson, Cleopatra Jones? Okay, but I changed up her face a little bit, you know. I changed her face up so it would look like somebody that I was probably vibing on at that particular time, or even in my mind or something. So I changed the face up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? When I changed the face up, basically I gave her another face, so it's not really Tamara Dotson. Well, you know. And then I put it on this acid-free paper, which is no acid paper, which means it crumbles after so many years. But it kind of made an interesting art, because it started turning and stuff, and I just burnt the edges and stuff, because art is, you know, you can do what you want with art, and it's still art and stuff. So I had it in the picture. I had it over here on the wall in the hall, and there's a sister, a goddess by the name of Saint Martha, Santa Martha or Saint Martha, and she's a protection goddess, and she's a goddess with a big ass afro, and so and a snake around her, and all of a sudden. I realized that I drew this back in the spring of 1991, a year before I started lecturing, and come to find out it was Saint Martha the whole time that I was dealing with, and so we tapped into Saint Martha, who is a protection goddess. Oh yeah, let them on in. And you know, they're protection goddess, and yeah, a protection goddess, you know. And you know, it's like the red carpet, so you know, they just have to just, yeah. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, always on time. Always. You gotta understand, that's a ritual now. She always got to do the grand entrance. She gotta wait till y'all all get here, so nobody won't miss her. You see what I'm saying? And so no. So it's right on time. You know, it's right on time, and stuff like that. Yeah. So you want to see the yeah, yeah, and this is the brother Ade Bay, that are known as the extraterrestrial chocolate.
Show you right.
Extraterrestrial chocolate, and yeah, and you know, so we talk about the, you know, extraterrestrial chocolate more, but anyway. Come to find out this St. Martha. Now, St. Martha is a form of Azuli Denta. Azuli Denta. So I took St. Martha and I put her in her Azuli's room, and she kept falling off the wall. Come to find out, the sisters don't feel bad because you don't like a whole lot of other sisters. Apparently this shit goes on in the spirit world too. And one thing I did find out about this and stuff, because I always, I did a lecture in 2000, and I said, sisters, sisters, you already oppressed, but you trip on other sisters, worse than brothers trip on other brothers. And, and I was trying to be all idealistic about this shit, about the sisters got to come together, until I really started dealing more and more with these goddesses. And then I figured it out. I said, you goddesses don't get along, do you? And it was like, no, we don't. And they said, no, we don't. And then I said, well, why is that? And then I tried to understand that, and what we found out was, each woman is her own universe. It's just like, each woman is her own universe, you know what I'm saying? It's like you can't come up in a certain sister's kitchen and shit trying to pull down some pots and pans. So apparently these damn goddesses got this stuff, so I'm trying to tell you, don't feel bad if you got this malice in your heart for some other sisters and you play hating on some other sisters. Apparently, and I don't want to put that out there to validate stuff, but we're talking to conscious people. But these goddesses, man, it's a mother. It's a mother. And if and if you've ever, and I'm talking about, and if you've ever gotten to the level whereas, you had them fighting over you, because like they can, you got, they fight over you and stuff like that and also too. You see, and different things like that. And you don't cross the stream. So the other one, so one, I think the Erzuli free to start kicking this Erzuli Denta off the wall. So we had to take her and put her on another doggone spot, but we can't cross the streams. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not quite, we got her in here tonight, but I'm not quite sure that she might want to share, they might want to share the space with the whole Lakshmi thing going on too. But her room is in here, but I just put her out here and stuff like that, just so you can actually understand what's going on and all. So this was one of my art pieces that I did. And so come to find out it was an ancient goddess. It was an ancient goddess and stuff. Now, I'm quite sure she done got busy with you.
Yeah, me and her,
Yeah, she done got, see, I'm telling you, this shit is a whole nother ecological system. Now, she got busy with this brother here, Rudra, and all. And now, it's interesting here now, Linda. Linda, can you go bring me the Erzuli pictures of the Erzuli dancing with the chicken? Because I want to show you this here. And all. You see what I'm saying? And because we're trying to show you that there's so what we're doing here is different than religion. We're trying to show you that there's a presence and there's an interaction with the spirit realm, and we are all a part of it, even though you might not know. So this is a little different, you see what I'm saying, than practicing and worshiping these deities. When you get to a certain level, they become your equals, and they become your equals. Yeah, so yeah, pass that here. And all. Now, yeah, pass those here. Let me show you this. Yeah. Okay, now. The goddess Erzuli, and I want you to take a look at the room. And what we're going to do is we're going to show the complete Lakshmi altar. And we're going to show the altar in the room. Now, what I want you to do is everybody should actually do these altars. Now, this is one of the magic. If you do my altar, like I got my altar, then I'm going to get the blessings. You got to do your altar that's uniquely yours. See what I'm saying? So it wasn't no blueprint. The Spirit just told me, the first thing I did is I saw a gold dress, a gold sequence dress, a day after when she said she wanted an altar. I saw that was in October of 2004. We went to Philadelphia in May of 2005. And May of 2005, we was walking down South Street, and something said, I need to go in this consignment store, like a little thrift store, but like a consignment store where people bring all their stuff, they put it on consignment. And this dress was up in there, and I said, that's the dress. And I went straight to it. The Spirit led me, and I went straight to it. I said, this is Lakshmi's dress. And when the guy said, well, we can't sell that because it doesn't have a price tag on it, and it just came in, and the person who gives that is not here. So we stuck around for a good 15 minutes in the store. And I came back, I said, you sure I can't get that? He said, the guy just walked in. And I said, I want to get that. And I said, how much? He told me $22. Now, Linda's has a sister in D.C., and she's a D.C. girl. and they go to all these. She works on Capitol Hill, and she was working on Capitol Hill, and she lived on Capitol Hill, and she go through all these. They go through all these galas and this shit that they have for these congressmen and stuff. And so she was saying that dress there starts at $200 as a cheap one. No, you can't get it from under $200 as a cheap one. You see what I'm saying? The whole sequence dress. But anyway, I'm trying to say, I saw this as a vision, so that's how this particular Lakshmi altar came. So yes, you can be inspired, but what you want to do when you build your altar, you want to do some things that's uniquely you. Like the altar, there's an Urzuli altar in there when you go look in the room. That's something that just came out of me, and it's something that's uniquely me. I get possessed. You see what I'm saying? And all, I even got some high heel shoes and stuff like that, and and all that type stuff, So, you do things, you do the things how you would want a woman to look. You see what I'm saying? So, but that's for her. But then again, now you being a woman, you might want another thing. You see what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is when you do your altar, make sure your altar, you can be inspired. And you can take concepts, but you want to put your altar that's uniquely you. You understand? And that's when the magic actually works. Because they're not stupid. They know when you're giving them something that you put out, because this stuff is coming from within. All the altar is these gods and goddesses live inside of us. And the altar is just a physical manifestation, you understand what I'm saying, to take something from inside of you and bring it into the physical world.